Ryan Day talked about penalties. He talked about lack of focus. Was there anything that you really took away from that was ultra concerning, or just typical coach, hey, we need to clean things up?
They need to clean things up. I mean, yeah, I think that there always has to be concerns in terms of fixing those self-inflicted type of wounds. I mean, there are different types of penalties. I mean, there are the penalties that are kind of the effort plays that, sometimes when the ref adjudicates a play and it's like, I don't know if that really was a penalty or not. And then there's just dumb things. I mean, week 1 was the false start game. Week 2 was the offside game. There were plenty of offside calls. And I mean, maybe you call those effort at a certain extent. I mean, players thought they'd had James Blackman's snap count kind of synced up, and apparently they didn't. And, they got called for several of those. I mean, the Taraja Mitchell, launching and leaping over the blocker wall on the punt return that was returned by Emeka Ibuka. Granted, there was another flag on that as well. That one, a lot of people have been like, I didn't even know that was a penalty. I guess I'm one of a few people in America who did, because when I saw it, I was like, well, that's probably going to draw a flag. Oh, that drew a flag. I mean, you just can't do it. And you look at the way that Taraja Mitchell came down on his head. There's a reason why that's a penalty. I mean, it's a player safety issue, just like a lot of other things. So, you want to see them play a cleaner game. You're not going to be Ohio State's just probably not going to be a team that's going to go through and have one penalty in a game. That's just not what's going to happen because of the effort plays. But you got to get rid of just the dumb mental error type of plays, and they'll get there. But I'm sure that it's something that's being harped upon regularly inside the walls of the WAC.
Yeah, they had 8 penalties, I want to say, for 95 yards, which 15 of that was Xavier Johnson walking up to a Arkansas player after Marvin Harrison scored on the crossing route going to the north end zone, and he walked right up behind the defensive back who got beat and said something in his ear hole right in front of the official. That's 15. Teron Vincent got a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty as time expired in the first half. On the play before, I didn't see where he got cheap shotted or anything. He is walking and the camera cuts away. You don't see what happened, but he's crossed the line of scrimmage, kind of going toward the Ohio State locker room, but obviously gets in somebody's face, says something, possibly bumps somebody.
It was a bump. Justin Hallbrock of Channel 4 was tweeting about it, and it was, as teams were crossing or whatever, a bit of a physical bump.
That's 15. They didn't tell us about that at the time. They had both head coaches down there in the end zone talking, about what had happened in the first half. And then they sent Butch Jones off, and then Ryan Day was there. And that poor Michelle McMahon from Big Ten Network had to wait until cooler heads prevailed to get her stand up with Day. And you could tell he was fuming mad when he was doing it, because there's no reason for this. You're the number 2, number 3 team in the country. This is Arkansas State, who was 2-10 last year. You win with class. You win with dignity. You don't do stupid shit like this. I mean, it's just that simple. You wear caps and sleeves at this level. I mean, this is just ignorant. The play by that you referenced on the punt, I mean, I guess now we know it's a rule. Don't ever do that again. That covers the flybys on that one. Don't do that again. And I don't suppose anybody will. That's just trying to make an extra effort. He wasn't trying to injure anybody. And then, of course, Denzel Burke got 15 yards for a pass interference penalty, then got flagged again when the guy made some kind of incredible circus catch. I know we can touch on the coverage issues as well, but there's 60 yards of it. Maybe it was 9 for 85, because then there was I think 4 or 5 offsides penalties by the defensive line. As you said last week, it was the false starts on the offensive line against Notre Dame. This week, it's the guys on defense showing no discipline, trying to get off ahead of the snap, and they still aren't getting pressure on the quarterback. So, they got some issues to clean up, but that was my viewpoint of it, is that it's all self-inflicted. It's up here. It's mental. It's you got to play with better poise, and if you do that against Wisconsin, Michigan, whoever down the line, it's a pathway to get yourself beat.